All right, let's dive right into this explainer and completely demystify APIs. We're going to take them from being this intimidating developer-only jargon to understanding the simple interfaces that literally power the modern web. To really peel back the curtain, we gotta ask ourselves, what actually happens when you press play on your favorite streaming app? You probably have absolutely no idea how the internal code works, right? But you trust the button, you push it, and boom, the music starts. Well, that simple action hides a whole world of complexity, and that's exactly what we're exploring today. So, here's our roadmap. We'll start by demystifying the acronym, then explore the magic of interfaces and look at the power of remote APIs. After that, we'll learn how to speak the web's language, explore the Spotify API, and finally, actually send some texts using Twilio. Okay, part one, demystifying the acronym. So an API, or Application Programming Interface, is basically a contract. It's like a specialized toolkit built purely for software developers to use. It gives them access to specific data and functions without them ever needing a PhD in how the underlying system actually works. It's just a secure way for one piece of software to talk to another, completely abstracting away the messy details. Moving right along to part two, the magic of interfaces. Think about an old-school radio dial for a second. It abstracts away all the crazy complex wiring inside the box, right? You just turn the knob and the station changes. Well, a GUI, a graphical user interface, does the exact same thing for software. It hides the raw code so you can just click a friendly little play button. You definitely don't need to write code to hear a song. You just use the interface. And this is absolutely crucial for drawing a clear line between the two. The graphical user interface, that's built strictly for the end user, but the API, that is built specifically for the programmer. A programmer uses the API to make that friendly user interface actually function, stringing together pre-built actions without having to reinvent the wheel every single time. Which brings us to part three, the power of remote APIs. Since our phones don't have infinite storage or processing power, remote APIs literally act as the wizard behind the curtain. Think about an app like Shazam pulling a song title out of thin air from a fuzzy audio clip, or Google Translate reading a sign in real time through your camera. They absolutely aren't doing that heavy processing locally on your phone. They're pinging a remote API, searching massive databases, doing the heavy lifting in the cloud, and instantly returning the result to you. Now, to make these remote APIs standardized and easy for anyone to use, a specific architectural style stepped up as the clear winner. It's called REST, or Representational State Transfer. It sits perfectly on top of standard web technologies, kind of like a really nice hat. When APIs follow this specific set of rules, we call them RESTful, meaning developers anywhere in the world can predict exactly how to interact with them.
Let's move to part four. Speaking the web's language.
So the web relies on a stateless protocol called HTTP, and every single interaction follows a super simple three-step lifecycle. First, your client, whether that's a browser or your code, sends a request containing a URL and an action verb. Second, the server receives and processes that data. And third, the server fires a response right back. But here's the catch. Because it's completely stateless, the server instantly forgets you exist after that response. You literally have to reintroduce yourself every single time. When that server answers back in step 3, the absolute most crucial piece is the payload. These days, in modern REST APIs, this is typically returned as JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation. It's an incredibly lightweight, human-readable way to structure your data using simple key-value pairs. It makes it universally easy for pretty much any programming language to parse. When we want the server to actually do something, we use the CRUD acronym: create, read, update, and delete. And the beauty of REST is how it maps these actions straight to HTTP verbs. You want to create something? You use a POST request. Want to read data? Get it. Updating? Use patch or put. And to delete? Well, you send a delete request. It's elegantly simple. Along with your shiny new JSON data, the server throws in a status code in its header. Now, we've all seen the famous 404 not found, or maybe that dreaded 500 server error. But the holy grail, the one developers are always chasing, that's the 200 OK. That just means, yep, your request was totally successful and your data is ready to go. All right, let's put this into practice with part 5, exploring the Spotify API. Consider how a specific API URL is structured. If we send a standard GET request to a specific Spotify endpoint, we're basically asking them to search their entire massive library for Beyoncé. In milliseconds, Spotify shoots back beautifully structured JSON data with all her albums, tracks, and even wild statistics like a song's danceability score. You don't host any of that massive music data yourself. You literally just ask the URL. Because Spotify is handling all the huge databases, the lightning fast searches, and the crazy server caching on their end, developers are just incredibly empowered. You can build these rich, complex music apps with just a handful of code lines. We are literally standing on the shoulders of giants here. And finally, part 6, sending texts via Twilio. Twilio takes the absolute nightmare of global cellular networks and completely abstracts it away. You don't need to understand cell towers or carriers at all. To send a real SMS text message straight to a phone from your computer, you just fire off a single post request to their API. You pass them a to number, a from number, your message body, like Ahoy World, and your off token. That's it. It's kind of mind-blowing how easy it is to trigger something in the physical world. But listen, this is absolutely crucial. When you're making these requests, you have to treat your auth token exactly like a highly sensitive password. If someone gets their hands on your Twilio token, or your Spotify token for that matter, they can make API calls and even spend your money, acting entirely as you. Keep it a total secret. Now, command line tools like curl are fantastic for quick testing, but honestly, keeping track of giant URLs and secret tokens gets messy really fast. That's why moving to a visual API client like RESTfox is a total game changer. It gives you a super clean space to safely stash your tokens as hidden variables, easily tweak your queries, and actually read those massive JSON responses without getting totally lost in the terminal. And that really shows you the incredible potential we're talking about today. Now that you understand the wizardry behind APIs, how they hide complexity, how REST rides on top of HTTP, and how you can command massive real-world systems with just a few lines of text, the only question left is, what impossible thing are you going to build with your newfound power?